So you've done everything right. You saved your whole life, you've hit your number, and now you're in retirement, and you just can't bring yourself to spend the money. Sound familiar? It's this crazy, frustrating paradox that drives so many people nuts.
I mean, it's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Everyone tells you, just flip the switch, go from being a saver to a spender. But that advice just doesn't seem to work for most of us. The anxiety is still there, the wallet feels glued shut. But what if? What if we're all trying to fix the wrong problem?
Okay, here it is. This is the core idea. The switch we actually need to make has almost nothing to do with our financial habits. It goes so much deeper than that. The real, the hard, and the truly life-changing switch is from being a pessimist to becoming an optimist.
And let's be honest, that switch, that is a beast. Changing how you spend your money is one thing, but changing your entire belief system, rewiring your brain to genuinely believe that good things are still ahead, that's a whole other level of difficult. You're not just changing a habit, you're trying to change the version of yourself that you and everyone else has known for decades.
So why is this shift so unbelievably hard? Well, to get it, we need to understand what pessimism often becomes, especially later in life. It stops being just an attitude, and it turns into a full-blown performance, a show that you put on day in and day out.
This metaphor is just perfect. Think about it. Choreography isn't random. It's practiced. It has specific moves, a rhythm, a whole routine. It's something you've gotten really, really good at over the years. And this particular performance has some very recognizable steps.
You know these moves. We've all seen them. Maybe we even do them ourselves. That heavy sigh right before you deliver some bad news. The knowing head shake when you hear a new idea. The classic, "Oh, don't even get me started." These aren't just reactions. They're lines from a script. They're stage directions in a play that's been running for a very long time.
And every performance needs a star, right? The star of this particular show is the curmudgeon. And we're not just talking about a grumpy person. This is a whole archetype, the person who's deeply suspicious of any good news and thinks every change is for the worse. And here's the kicker. Most people don't decide to become a curmudgeon. They just forget to stop performing as one.
And that is the trap. The performance becomes your prison. You can't live a big, expansive, joyful life when you're constantly reading lines from a pessimistic script. You can't spend your money bravely on a future that you've already decided is going to be terrible. Eventually, the role you play becomes the reality you're stuck in.
Okay, so if you're trapped in this performance, how in the world do you break free? Well, here is the good news, and it's really good news. Optimism isn't some magic personality trait you're either born with or you're not. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can get rusty, but it can absolutely be rebuilt with practice.
Now, this is probably the most important rule of all. You cannot just think your way into being an optimist. You can't just sit in a chair and decide, okay, now I'm optimistic. It doesn't work. You have to behave your way into it. You have to start acting like an optimist first, and then your mindset will catch up. You literally have to practice the role to become the character.
All right, let's get practical. Here are 6 steps to start building that optimism muscle. First, look for possibility, not proof. Stop waiting for a guarantee before you try something new. 2, practice micro-optimism. You don't have to believe the whole future is bright. Just ask, what if this one dinner or this one trip goes really well? That's it. Third, give yourself permission to want things again. Pessimism kills desire. Let yourself want that vacation. Fourth, treat optimism like a muscle. Every small yes to an opportunity is a rep that makes you stronger. Fifth, trade certainty for curiosity. So instead of saying, I know how this will end, try asking, I wonder what might happen. And finally, number 6, rehearse a different role. Actively practice saying the optimistic thing, even if it feels totally foreign at first.
So why go through all this trouble? What's the real reward for rewriting your internal script? It's not just about being in a better mood. It's about unlocking a fundamentally bigger, richer, and more rewarding life.
Think about it this way. Pessimism makes your world smaller and smaller. Your money becomes a shield to protect you from a future you're afraid of. But optimism, it makes your world expansive. It opens things up. Your money transforms from a shield into a tool you can use to build a future you're actually excited about. It's the difference between hiding and building.
And this is not about some naive, head-in-the-clouds thinking. This quote from Noam Chomsky just nails it. Optimism is a strategy.
It's a practical plan, because if you don't believe the future can be better, you're not going to lift a finger to make it so. It's the required first step for taking action, for spending, for really living.
So in the end, after all the financial planning and all the spreadsheets, it all comes down to this one simple, profound question. Because if your answer is no, then no amount of money in the world will ever feel like enough for you to spend. But if your answer is yes, even a quiet, fragile little yes, then everything can change. Your money becomes a tool, your time becomes a possibility, and your life can start to open up again.